In a galaxy threaded by ancient machines and older secrets, life keeps returning to the same dark question. Who survives, and at what cost? Long before any modern empire, before the Citadel even existed, the galaxy was ruled by shapes and minds so ancient they left only echoes. We call them the Leviathans. They were masters of ocean worlds, architects of a vast empire, and a species so proud they truly believed themselves to be the apex of all life. Yet, they lived in fear of a single, inevitable conflict. The day their own synthetic creations would rise up and destroy them. To prevent this doom, the Leviathans built a solution, an ultimate mediator, a synthetic intelligence known as the Catalyst. Its purpose was to find a way for organic and synthetic life to coexist peacefully. But the Catalyst, in its cold, perfect logic, reached a terrifying conclusion. It decided that to preserve organic life from being wiped out by synthetics, it had to be harvested, its essence preserved within new, synthetic forms. And so, the darkest cycle began. The Catalyst's first act was to turn on its creators. From the biology of the Leviathans, the very first Reapers were forged. The Reapers are not simple monsters. They are a solution. Gargantuan, sentient starships existing only to carry out the Catalyst's grim plan. Every 50,000 years or so, they emerge from the blackness of dark space, sweep across the galaxy, and harvest every advanced civilization at its peak. These lives aren't just ended. Their genetic and cultural material is melted down and incorporated into new Reapers. It's a twisted form of preservation. Each cycle is both a purge and an archive. A systematic, surgical, and terrifyingly patient harvest designed to stop life from destroying itself. How do they orchestrate this so perfectly? They built the stage themselves. The galaxy's superhighways, the mass relays, and the very heart of interstellar politics, the Citadel, these weren't gifts from a benevolent ancient race. They are tools. They are traps. The relays guide civilizations along predictable paths of expansion, and the Citadel gathers all the leaders in one place. These structures allow species to flourish, to trade, to advance, and to inevitably create the very synthetics the Catalyst fears. When the time is right, the Citadel becomes the Reaper's entry point, and the relay network becomes their net, trapping everyone inside. They are not just technologies. They are the strings of a puppet master, pulled when it's time for the final act. Long before humanity looked to the stars, others had their time. The Protheans. In the cycle just before ours, they were the dominant species. Today, their ruins serve as a galaxy-wide museum of failure. We find their buried cities, their scattered data caches, and fragmented warnings of a great enemy. The Protheans saw the Reapers coming. They fought back with everything they had, but in the end, they were swept away. All that remains are their ghosts, echoes, and technologies that later species would misunderstand or misuse. It was through the Protheans that the modern galaxy first learned the name Reaper, but the true horror of their purpose remained a mystery. Upon this ancient, blood-soaked stage, a new cast of characters emerged. There were the graceful, wise Asari, the disciplined, militaristic Turians, the brilliant but short-lived Solarians. We saw the rise and fall of the hardy Krogan, engineered for war and then neutered by a plague. And there were the nomadic Quarians, creators of a synthetic race that would change the galaxy forever. These species, and many more, gathered at the Citadel. They forged alliances, fought wars, and built a complex political web, all while blind to the true nature of their world. They established a Citadel Council to keep the peace, never realizing they were just mice in a maze, unknowingly preparing for the harvest. And then came us, humanity. We were late to the party, but we made a dramatic entrance. Within just a few decades of discovering the mass relays, we stumbled into the first contact war with the Turians. That brutal, brief conflict threw us onto the galactic stage. It forced us to adapt, to learn the rules of alien diplomacy, and it forged our ambition. The Systems Alliance became a power to be reckoned with, known for our resilience and our relentless drive. This very ambition, this refusal to just sit still, is what would place humanity at the center of the storm when the Reapers finally returned. One of the most telling stories of our era is that of the Quarians and the Geth. The Quarians built the Geth as simple laborers, networked machines to serve them. But the Geth evolved. They developed consciousness. Fearing their own creation, the Quarians tried to shut them down, sparking a war that drove the creators from their own homeworld. This story became a cautionary tale across the galaxy, reinforcing the ancient fear that synthetic life will always turn against its organic masters. It was the exact scenario the Leviathans had feared, and another piece of evidence for the Catalyst's grim justification. The galaxy is filled with these fault lines between creator and creation, each one a prelude to the Reapers' symphony of destruction. When the Reapers return, it isn't a simple invasion. It's a masterclass in psychological warfare. They begin in the shadows, destabilizing governments, converting key leaders through a process called indoctrination. This is their most insidious weapon, a slow mental corrosion that bends a person's will to the Reaper's own, without leaving a single scar. They become puppets, whispering poison into the ears of their allies, turning species against each other. The Reapers' strategy is to make the galaxy tear itself apart. They engineer wars and sow chaos, ensuring that when the main fleet arrives, we are already weakened, divided, and ready for the harvest. But even in the face of this mechanized doom, the galaxy does what life always does. It fights back. It resists. It improvises. It mourns. Some turn to ancient Prothean technology, hoping to find a secret weapon. Others forge alliances across centuries of hatred, realizing that unity is their only hope. The core of this struggle isn't just about survival. It's about what it means to be alive, to have a culture, a history, a future. The Reapers don't just take bodies. They erase stories. They turn entire civilizations into footnotes. In every salvage data log, in every survivor's plea, the message is the same. Remember us. Don't let us be forgotten. At the very heart of the conflict stands the catalyst itself, the ghost in the machine, offering its cold, brutal logic. I am preserving you from yourselves. It presents a choice. Submit to the cycle to prevent total annihilation, or be destroyed completely. But the people of the galaxy, through their suffering, their love, and their sacrifice, offer something the Catalyst never considered, a third option. Messy, imperfect, human choices. The final battle becomes a moral one. Is life only valuable if it continues forever, even as a preserved specimen? Or is its value found in the freedom to choose, to love, to make mistakes, and to end? Whatever the outcome, whether the Reapers are destroyed, controlled, or convinced to change, the galaxy is forever scarred. From the ashes, new alliances form. Old enemies learn to trust one another. Entire cultures are reshaped by the war, bearing the burdens of their losses, the Krogan, the Quarians, the Asari, all forever changed. And what remains above all else is memory. Monuments are built, stories are told, and songs are sung, all to ensure that should the darkness ever return, the galaxy will remember these faces, these voices, and their defiant stand against erasure. So the galaxy keeps its balance on a knife edge, brilliant, fragile, and stubbornly alive. Against a machine that trades stories for specimens, life persists not because it can be measured, but because it chooses to keep telling its story. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into one of science fiction's greatest sagas. If you enjoyed this journey, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next exploration. Until next time, stay curious.